This is Bleu, a 9-year-old Westphalian gelding, which I treat for the third time. My last session is already 2 months back, and when I worked on him last time, we focused on all these tight muscles in his face and in his neck. He had a lot of strain around the eyes, his masseter muscles, in his muzzle and on the neck. I was very pleased to see how much less tension Bleu carries in his face and in his head. There's hardly any tension in his masseter muscles on the jaw. His lips, especially his lower lip, looks relaxed, and there's a different expression in his face. His neck looks so much better. There's still more work to do, especially to build up the upper muscles so he has a better top line and a better posture for his neck. But I'm very pleased to see how far he came. In my general evaluation of Bleu, I get hung up on his torso, on his rib cage, the area behind his shoulders and in front of the hips. I see a lot of tension there, and I'm pretty sure that that's the cause why he carries his head so straight, and also the tension in his tail. I also pick up muscle imbalances on his hind end. Left and right side look totally different and seem to be a little bit unbalanced. When I watch him walk, I first of all see that his hind legs seem to be very unstable and shaky. Looks like he has to think hard about how to place his feet and find the line. And he's a little bit all over the place with his steps. According to his owner, he has often a very wide stand in the back, so telling me that he looks for extra stability when he stands. Karen uses those foam pads in order to help Bleu find the activity of his little small muscles to stabilize, and he's also wearing specialized hooves with a cut in the front. I also got told that he will have hoof x-rays soon, so they can see what's going on with his feet. I started treating Bleu for anxiety. He was very nervous last time I introduced him to the flag, and he was very scared of the flag, so I got to the point where he handled it very well. Now when I assess our communication, I realize he doesn't even react to the flag anymore, and I have to teach him what I would like him to do when I give him some energy towards his hind end. He learns very quickly, and in only 3 times I barely needed to use the flag, and he picked up my subtle signs of asking him to move his hind hand. It's obvious that Karen did her homework and practiced the lateral flexion with him. She told me mostly riding, but Bleu really understands now that pulling on the rein only means side bend and connection. He doesn't move his hind legs anymore. I'm sure that's also a big part for him, releasing all that tension out of his neck, that he understands what his owner wants from him. I begin my session by tuning into his forehead and do a listening, and I'm picking up a tension line along his cervical spine into his withers. I connect those 2 points and release the tension. And him lowering the head so much shows me that I'm on the right structure. From there, the listening pulls me into his thoracic outlet and into his lungs. So I work on his pleura. I got clearly pulled into his organ system and assess lungs and all the connective organs like the liver, and do double listening in between those structures and figure out who pulls on whom. Here I'm working on the lobes of the liver. Assessing the superficial tissue and Bleu's reaction to it gives me more information on where to work. So I go back to his chest and work on his sternum. From the sternum, I get pulled into the pericardial ligaments to the heart. And then I work on the heart and increase the motility of that organ. Everything that brings Bleu to lower his head and relax is a step in the right direction, because that's what we want. We want to loosen up that top line and allow him to be more round in the fascial structures on top of his back. And obviously the relaxation went all the way back to his digestive tract. I released the pathway of the vagal nerve around his shoulder blade, which goes up into his back, and release the sheets and the fascia in his neck. He gets the biggest release from addressing the tension in his face and in his jaw. And it doesn't even take much, and I just assess the atlas and the cranial base, and he gives me a lot of release. And after all that work, I already see first signs that he carries himself much better and brings slowly that nice little bend in his neck. The lower jaw clearly seems to be a key structure for all the tension he holds in his body. As soon as I address the second cervical vertebra, he releases more energy. And then we have a nice sequence together where I address the influence of the legs onto the structure of the sternum and the underlying heart, and find the positions which bring most ease into that movement. Since he carried a lot of tension in that tail, I evaluate the pelvis and listen for all the connections which impact the pelvic floor. That was the posture when we started, and now when I see how relaxed his tail is, I can tell that we made some progress. It seemed important for me to integrate all the changes into movement, and he clearly showed me that I was right with my assumption. He releases and brings more relaxation into his body. His movements seem more fluent, and the trotting looks pretty good to me, but I have to say I forgot to videotape the trotting at the beginning, which would be more helpful to actually make an evaluation of the progress. But his motions look good and fluent, and I'm happy with the direction we move towards.